Across the Screens Part 9. Lina spent the last few days in Vietnam trying to push away her worries. She focused on enjoying the time with her daughter and friend, making the most of the beautiful sights and experiences. They visited markets, explored temples, and took boat rides along the rivers. Her daughter's laughter and excitement filled Lina with bittersweet joy. She was determined to make this trip a precious memory, something that would overshadow the brief, unsettling encounter with Alex. But deep down, the encounter gnawed at her. She couldn't tell her friend the truth, couldn't burden him with the complicated past that she had kept hidden. And so, she resolved to leave Vietnam without further incident, hoping that once they returned home, she could put it all behind her again. Meanwhile, Alex was restless. The more he thought about his brief conversation with Lina, the more questions he had. Why had she vanished from social media? Why had she kept her life so private? And who was the little girl with her? He couldn't shake the feeling that he was missing something crucial. Desperate for answers, Alex tried to find Lina online but came up empty. No social media profiles, no traces of her life. It was as if she had disappeared entirely from the digital world. Frustrated, he turned his search to Rohan, hoping to find some clues. What he found instead was a picture of Rohan with another woman, clearly happy and married. This confirmed Lina's claim that she hadn't married Rohan, but it only deepened the mystery. Why would Lina lie about her husband's identity but tell the truth about not marrying Rohan? And why was she so determined to avoid him? The questions plagued Alex, leaving him more confused and uncertain about everything, including his upcoming marriage to Sophie. But with his business obligations and the wedding preparations looming, Alex knew he couldn't afford to stay in Vietnam any longer. He needed to focus on his life with Sophie, despite the doubts that were beginning to creep in. He couldn't be selfish. He had made promises to Sophie, and she had stood by him through thick and thin. He owed it to her to follow through with their plans, even if his heart was still wrestling with unresolved feelings for Lina. Lina, on the other hand, felt a wave of relief as their plane touched down back home. The vacation had been a good distraction, but now she was ready to return to the life she had carefully built. She was determined to put the encounter with Alex behind her, to focus on her daughter and their future. But she couldn't deny the lingering unease in her heart. She knew Alex wouldn't let things go so easily, especially not after seeing her with her daughter. And as much as she wanted to believe that everything would be all right, she couldn't shake the feeling that the past wasn't done with her yet. For now, though, she was content to be back in her safe, familiar world, far from the chaos and confusion of Vietnam. She hoped that with time, the memories of Alex would fade again, and she could continue living the life she had chosen for herself and her daughter. But deep down, she knew that some things were impossible to forget, no matter how hard she tried. As the days passed, Alex found himself increasingly preoccupied with thoughts of Lina. The impending wedding with Sophie loomed over him, but his mind kept drifting back to the mysterious encounter in Vietnam. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to Lina's story, something she wasn't telling him. Despite the years that had passed, he felt an inexplicable pull towards her, a need to understand what had really happened. Sophie, on the other hand, was completely absorbed in the wedding preparations. She was excitedly choosing flowers, finalizing the guest list, and picking out her dress. Her enthusiasm was infectious, and everyone around her could see how happy she was. Alex, however, struggled to match her excitement. He put on a good face, but his heart wasn't fully in it. During his office hours, Alex would often find himself lost in thought, trying to figure out how to learn more about Lina without alerting Sophie. One day, he decided to call Lina's old office, hoping to get some information on where she might be now. When he finally got through, he was shocked to hear that Lina had left that job many years ago. No one there had any current information on her whereabouts. This revelation only deepened Alex's curiosity. Why had Lina left her job so abruptly? Where had she gone? And why had she disappeared so completely from his life? The questions swirled in his mind, making it even harder for him to focus on the wedding. Meanwhile, Lina remained blissfully unaware of Alex's internal turmoil. She had returned home from Vietnam, ready to put the past behind her once again. But the news of Alex's success as a businessman reached her, and it stirred something inside her. She hadn't kept tabs on him, but it was impossible to ignore his growing fame. It was all over the news, in magazines, and on social media. She knew he had become a big name in the business world, and she couldn't help but wonder how different things might have been if they had stayed together. Despite these thoughts, Lina remained resolute in her decision to keep her life with her daughter private. She had built a new world for herself, far away from the complications of her past, and she was determined to protect it. But the knowledge of Alex's success, combined with their unexpected meeting in Vietnam, made it harder for her to push him out of her thoughts completely. As the wedding day approached, Alex found himself more torn than ever. He knew he had to decide whether to commit fully to his life with Sophie or find out the truth about Lina, no matter what the cost. The weight of this choice hung heavily on him, casting a shadow over what should have been a joyous time. The closer the wedding got, the more Alex's mind raced. He needed answers, but he didn't know where to turn. Sophie was blissfully unaware of his internal struggle, too caught up in the excitement of their upcoming marriage to notice his distant behavior. But Alex knew he couldn't keep going like this. He had to figure out what really happened with Lina before he could move forward with Sophie or risk carrying the uncertainty with him for the rest of his life. As Lina read the news about Alex's upcoming wedding, a wave of mixed emotions washed over her. Sadness, relief, and a tinge of nostalgia all battled for her attention. She had always known that a day like this might come, but seeing it confirmed in headlines still stung. Yet, she reminded herself that this was for the best. Alex had clearly moved on, and their lives were now on separate paths. The love they once shared was a distant memory, one that she had buried deep in for the sake of her daughter. Determined to stay strong, Lina refocused her energy on building a secure future. She knew that her daughter depended on her, and she was resolved to provide the best life possible. Financial independence and emotional resilience became her new goals. She started looking for better job opportunities and even considered furthering her education to ensure they would never have to depend on anyone else. Meanwhile, back in his world, Alex was grappling with his own issues. One evening, after a long day at the office, he realized he had left his laptop at work. Needing to check some emails, he decided to use Sophie's laptop, which she had left in his room. As he opened it, the browser automatically logged into Sophie's social media accounts. He had never been one to invade her privacy, but something compelled him to look further. Curiosity got the better of him, and he clicked on her messages. As he scrolled through, a familiar name caught his eye, Rohan. The sight of that name sent a jolt through him. Why was Sophie in contact with Rohan? How did they even know each other? Questions started swirling in his mind as he read through the messages. The exchange between Sophie and Rohan wasn't extensive, but it was enough to raise his suspicions. There were mentions of the past, subtle references that hinted at something more than just a casual acquaintance. The more he read, the more uneasy he became. It didn't add up. Why would Sophie, his soon-to-be wife, be talking to someone from Lina's past? His mind raced back to the moments when Lina had mentioned not marrying Rohan and how she had evaded his questions about her current life. Could there be something he was missing? Something that Sophie and Rohan knew but he didn't. The more he thought about it, the more the puzzle pieces seemed to be falling into place, but not in a way that brought any comfort. Alex closed the laptop, his heart pounding. He knew he had to confront Sophie, but how? What would he even say? The wedding was just around the corner, and this revelation could change everything. Doubts about Sophie's honesty and the true nature of her relationship with Rohan gnawed at him. That night, as Sophie chatted excitedly about wedding plans, Alex could barely focus. His thoughts were consumed by the messages he had seen and the secrets they hinted at. He realized he couldn't go forward with the wedding until he got to the bottom of this. But how could he do that without blowing everything up? And what if the truth turned out to be something he wasn't ready to face? For the first time in a long while, Alex found himself at a crossroads, torn between the life he had built and the unanswered questions from his past. Meanwhile, Lina, unaware of the turmoil brewing in Alex's life, continued to focus on her daughter and her future, believing that the past was finally behind her. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, to hear the next part of the story.